Today on Play to Win, is Saban the best ever? We have a preview of the 2016 season for Georgia Tech, plus injuries, fantasy football, and we preview and Jeffrey the Edge picks the NFL Elite Eight on the fastest 30 minutes in football. Play to Win is being brought to you by the Southeastern Nissan dealers,
Mellow Mushroom Pizza Baker,
and SD Services.
Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Fantasy Football League previews with Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalaji, and your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal. Today's SEC report is being brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome to the show. The SEC report, of course, is about Alabama winning the national championship. We're with Jeffrey, and Nikki is back from Vegas, and Bob Whitfield. And what happened in Vegas?
Stays on Facebook.
Stays on Facebook for her. And how about Clemson scoring at the end of the national championship game? You, Mr. Edge, had to be happy.
Millions of dollars changed hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
They call that a courtesy touchdown.
It was 6.5 point spread. It goes down to 5 points, and money's flying everywhere.
I heard all the noise coming from Alabama at about midnight.
No kidding. People running away because a lot of money was lost there on to the bookies' hands, by the way. Let's get started with our college football, and of course that is about the national title game. Alabama wins by a score of 45-40, and Bob Whitfield, we're going to talk about Nick Saban a little bit later, but he made a great play when he called that onside kick.
Well, definitely, Bob. It was a great play, and it was a timely play because his defense was getting murdered out there. So he had to do something to change the momentum of the game. Calls an onside kick. It might have been illegal, but it was a good play when it happened.
We were questioning that, whether it was grounded or not, but nevertheless, it ruled. It is done. It's 45-40, the final. Here's a guy who came back from not the dead, but the almost the unliving.
Yeah, O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy that hasn't scored a touchdown since 2013 against LSU. He comes into this game, sets a record for most receiving yards in a national title game, 208, and scored 2 touchdowns. Everyone was going nuts where I wasn't at the game, but everyone at the bar was going crazy over this guy.
Yeah, no kidding. O.J. Howard, and he was open, so open on a couple of those. And Jeffrey, the Clemson performance, they were ranked number 1 coming in, and I thought they played pretty well, although that was kind of a gimme at the end.
The offense was sensational. Alabama couldn't stop them, no way. They had breakdowns on defense. They had breakdowns on special teams. 24-24, Nick Saban knew he could no longer stop them. That's why the onside kick.
And that brings up our college football showdown of the week, brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. And of course, the showdown is whether or not Nick Saban is the greatest coach ever. Bob Whitfield, as we take a look at some of these other great winning coaches for national championships, is he the best coach ever?
Well, Bob, he's definitely one of the greatest of all time on that list. But one of the things that show his greatness is the fact that he comes back to school. Coaches from the NFL, everybody transitioning to greater football, pro football. Nick Saban tried it after LSU, came back, made Alabama his home. He talks about staying in Bama.
All right, and you had a thought about that, my dear.
When you look at those numbers and you look at Bear Bryant being slightly ahead of Nick Saban, you also have to take into consideration the rules that are in play now that weren't in play back then when it comes to recruiting and games. It's a much harder era to be a great coach in now. I would say Nick Saban, the best we've got today. For the past 8 seasons, Nick Saban has been ranked number 1 in the polls at some point in every season for the last 8 seasons. He just passed Steve Spurrier with more SEC championship wins, 4 at Bama, 2 at LSU, and Alabama has cranked out 17 NFL first-round draft picks since 2007. He is the best we've got right now.
Wow. Okay, now we got another opinion here on did the best team win? Remember, Clemson was ranked number 1, and a guy, it's so hard to get an opinion from John Kincaid of 680, but he's going to offer his opinion.
Is the question today serious? Am I really being asked if the best team won the national championship? Of course they did, because Nick Saban was willing to make moves that others wouldn't be willing to make in the same position. When you're in a fourth quarter game, championship on the line, and you decide to onside kick, You not only show such great confidence in your team, you show great confidence in yourself, in your planning, in your decision making, in your strategy. And maybe that's why Nick Saban now has 4 titles in 7 years and a 5th college football national championship. He may not have been cut out for pro football, but in the college ranks, he knows how to get the job done. So absolutely, the Alabama Crimson Tide outlasted Clemson. Clemson's going to be back next year. They got nothing to be ashamed of. But on that night, on that stage, the Clemson Tigers weren't ready to climb the mountain, bust through, and win a national championship. Might they be next year? Well, check back with me in around December, and then we'll find out. But for now, congratulations, Alabama. You earned it in every way, shape, and form.
All right, John Kincaid from 680 The Fan. We got to get him in the studio. He's an opinionated guy. I'd love to tussle with him in the studio here one of these days. We'll get him to join us. Next, we will have Georgia Tech and the 2016 preview.
Hello?
Hey, Jason. No need to rush. Mr. Brooks won't be in today.
Nice. Thanks.
With an aggressive new look and attitude, we took America's best-selling car in a bold direction. The Toyota Camry. What bold moves will you make?
Get a low 0% APR for 72 months on the new 2016 Toyota Camry.
Toyota, let's go places.
If you're looking for a new Toyota, what are you waiting for, Atlanta? Check out the amazing deals and great selection at Stone Mountain Toyota. We'll save you a ton on a 2016 Camry, and you won't believe how low our price is on new Corolla with our January New Year's savings. Save time and shop online at StoneMountainToyota.com. We'll make it worth your drive when you visit us today. You'll be glad you did.
Stone Mountain Toyota, a great price, a great buying experience. Come in and have a cup of coffee with me today.
So, you didn't win $1 billion. Well, would you settle for $15 million? Or what about $40 million? With Mega Millions jackpots starting at $15 million and Powerball jackpots starting at $40 million, you know what? You'd still take home a load of cash. Seriously. Because any jackpot is a good jackpot. Play Powerball and Mega Millions with the Georgia Lottery.
She said yes. You're the best man.
I got this. Nissan Sentra. With push-button start, Bose Premium Audio, and hands-free text messaging assistant. Choose Sentra, J.D. Power's highest-ranked compact car in initial quality, and save up to $2,250. Sentra, step it up.
You're the man.
Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
All right, it's time for the Hometown Team Report. Last week, we broke down the 2016 preview for the Georgia Bulldogs. This week, it's Georgia Tech's turn. Georgia Tech hoping to bounce back, and they have erased 2015 right off the record books. Looking forward to this year. I'm hearing some things that they may be better this year, probably will be better. And Nikki, let's start with the offense and the running backs. That was a huge problem last year.
Yeah, losing their top 3 running backs proved to be pretty devastating for Tech. They thought they could just plug and play, put some new guys in there. That wasn't the case. But the good news is our Georgia Tech's 2 top backs from last year will be back. They were only freshmen. And Paul Johnson, very excited about this new class that he's bringing in, says it's the most talented yet. He's expecting a lot of competition and some depth at B-back, and he's looking for an exciting spring with these guys. Hold them to a higher standard.
Marcus Marshall and Clinton Lynch, he's liking the looks of those guys too. And of course, just like at quarterback with Justin Thomas, a lot of that had to do with the performance of the offensive line last year. One of the best offensive linemen ever, period, is Bob Whitfield. So break down that offensive line for us.
Well, Paul Johnson said he had to get better at offensive line. So he's going to be looking for not only just offensive linemen, but coaching staff. And he added a new offensive line coach in Ron West to help bolster that front. But even his A and B backs got to do a better job in protection to get that quarterback who was an Orange Bowl MVP back on track.
All right, Justin Thomas probably have a better year. I think they'll be better next year. We're going to ask Jeffrey about it in a minute. But how about the D? Will they be able to get to the quarterback?
Well, the biggest improvement that the defense needs to make is on the pass rush. Bob, these opposing quarterbacks were having way too much time in the pocket. Georgia Tech ranked 85th in completion percentage defense. I know you guys didn't think I could get that out of my mouth, but I did. And they were 120th, tied for it rather, with sacks, only averaging around 1.2.
So better though this year, you're thinking.
When you're at rock bottom.
How can you be exact? No place to go but up. How about the win total, Jeffrey? We had Jeffrey last week picking University of Georgia, and I think you said 8, right, on the over-under for Georgia. Now, how about Georgia Tech?
Well, I'm going to be a little generous. 6. They got a tough schedule. Their defense was terrible. That needs to be improved. First down, they run the ball, they get 1 yard. The year before, they were getting 5 yards. Too many 2nd and 9s. So I'm going to go with 6. If it's less, they may be the 4th best college team in Georgia.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that schedule. First thing that Georgia Tech does is they open at Dublin, Ireland against Boston College. I want to ask you about that as a former player, about going to some place like Dublin, Ireland to open your football. Is that going to affect the team?
Well, I mean, it's going to be great for everybody on vacation, I guess, if you want to have a little fun. I mean, but you got to stay focused in those long trips. You got to fly there, you got to practice there and get adjusted to the time zone, and then to get adjusted to that what they serve in there, that drink, that ale drink they make. That drink, that Guinness drink.
They're not old enough to drink yet.
I think the starting quarterback might be.
This is Georgia Tech, man.
I think there may be, remember, most
they
of those guys are like.
Georgia Tech's a dry campus, right?
Most of them are around 30 years old. Plus, they got to play at Florida State. It's going to be a tough schedule.
Tough schedule. They got North Carolina. I mean, Pittsburgh is tremendously improving. You know, if they win
play
6, Clemson 6 is,
All right, 6 is the number here. I'm going to say 8, but once again, as I said last week, he's usually right. All right, we're going to come back in just a moment and talk about fantasy football and who are the players to pick for the divisional playoffs in the NFL.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Start the new year in a new Nissan. During Nissan's 2016 event, choose from 7 models with 0% financing for up to 60 months, plus up to $5,000 cash back. Or lease Altima just $189 per month. But hurry, the excitement may last, but 0% on 7 models won't. Offers end February 1st. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites.
In a wreck? Get a check.
I'm attorney John Foy, the strong arm. If you've been in a car accident, someone needs to pay. The sooner you call, the faster we'll get started.
I was hit and my car was spun out of control. I suffered injuries all over my body. I got the upper hand. I called the strong arm. My check, $1.2 million.
In a wreck? Get a check. Get the strong arm. Attorney John Foy and Associates.
Today's Fantasy Report is being brought to you by SD Services. Home comfort or plumbing issues? We can fix that.
Time for fantasy football. Who's hot and who's not? And my friend Adam Brown, of course, is hot with his picks and your projections.
Yeah.
And it's the divisional round.
It's the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Final 4 in each division. I'm excited about this weekend. A lot of great games. Let's get started with the quarterbacks this weekend. And let's get started with my man, Carson Palmer. Week 16 versus Green Bay, he ripped them apart with 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. And going down to number 4 on the list, we got Russell Wilson. Week 6 against Carolina, he had 241 yards passing and 53 yards rushing. Look for him to have a nice day at Carolina. On to the running back, so we got David Johnson playing against Green Bay. Week 16, he only had 39 yards rushing and a TD, but look for the receiving yards he had with 3 catches for 88 yards. Marshawn Lynch, we expect him to play this week. So he had 54 yards last time he played Carolina with a touchdown week 6. And Ronnie Hillman, 48 yards rushing week 15 versus Pittsburgh. Look for him to have a better day than he did that time. Now, Julian Edelman, he's back. He's a big play target for Tom Brady. He only played the first 10 weeks, but in those 10 weeks, he has 61 receptions and 7 touchdowns. Demaryius Thomas, Last 3 weeks, 17 receptions, 3 touchdowns, and James Jones, he's become the go-to guy for Aaron Rodgers. He had 7 catches for 81 yards last week. He's become the big play go-to guy for Aaron Rodgers.
All right, now let's talk a little bit about the tight end.
Right. So the tight ends, we got Greg Olsen above Rob Gronkowski. There's a really good reason for that. Week 6 at Seattle, Greg Olsen was the man. Had 7 receptions, 131 yards and a touchdown. And Travis Kelce at New England, he had 8 catches for 128 yards last week. Look for him to have another nice day. And then the defense, the Denver Broncos. Doesn't matter if Big Ben, doesn't matter if Landry Jones is the quarterback. It doesn't matter. They're going to go after the quarterback and sack him no matter what. Denver's going to be the #1 defense this week.
Okay, you are in the playoff mode. This is Adam Brown with Fantasy Football. Stay with us. NFL next.
Heating system blowing cold air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and SD Services. We've been installing and repairing heating and air systems in Atlanta for 66 years. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from Estes. Need to get warm? We can fix that.
Thinning or balding hair? HRS can now reverse thinning hair by using stem cells through platelet-rich plasma treatments. Platelets are put directly into the follicle to stimulate growth. This is a safe and easy procedure with no downtime.
I decided to get a series of platelet-rich plasma treatments. Now I have my own growing hair back. The treatments were easy, painless, and I was able to return to work the same day with no downtime.
Call us at 404-231-3100. That's 404-231-3100.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's surprise.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Bad pipes, clogs, broken water heater? We can fix that. ST's Plumbing Services, your man for all seasons since 1949, will make your plumbing problems disappear. From pesky pipes to new water heaters, we can fix that.
Today's NFL report is being brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
All right, it's time for the NFL report, the Elite 8 divisional playoffs in the National Football League. And we're going to start with the AFC. There's a game on Saturday and Sunday at 4:35 Saturday. Today, this afternoon, Kansas City plays at New England. Bob Whitfield, break that one down, and keep in mind that Jeffrey loves the Chiefs.
Well, it'll definitely be like the Chiefs walking on razor blades at Gillette Field. Look for Justin Houston to be questionable in that game, Jeremy Maclin to be questionable in that game against Patriots, and they're getting a full arsenal of healthy receivers in Edelman and Amendola back, but I like Kansas City as well.
You do too. All right, well, if the two of you do, then I'm going with Kansas City. And by the way, the Edge will pick these against the spread in the lightning round at the end of the show. And now, Nicky, you want to talk about a game with the Steelers and the Broncos. And we've got 2 old guys playing quarterback, one really in Peyton, who's going to start, and Ben Roethlisberger, who's probable, but he's got a tear in the shoulder. So how do you break down that game?
Yeah, and Peyton Manning right now appears to be healthy, so they definitely have the edge there. But if you have been able to put your finger on this Broncos team at all this year, God bless you. They are all over the map. I know they're 12-4 on the season, but they are middle of the pack in every offensive category. They have zero consistency. It's a very hard thing to gauge with them, but we do know healthy quarterback versus probable quarterback.
All right, when you pick the most intriguing game in the AFC, which one is it? If it's not Kansas City, I'll fall off my chair.
Don't fall off your chair.
All right.
Kansas City, New England is a great game. Kansas City's the hottest team in football. Their defense is great. They're playing great, 11 in a row. New England's a little hurting. Belichick had 2 weeks to get them ready. This will be an interesting game.
Okay, now let's go to the National Football Conference, the NFC games. And we have, first of all, tonight, the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals, and then the Seahawks and the Panthers will play tomorrow at 1:05. So, Nicky, let's start here with Green Bay and Arizona. The quarterback here for Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, did not play well 2 games ago, was under constant pressure, played well last week. What's going to be the story with Green Bay, and how will they be able to protect Aaron Rodgers?
Well, it's all about, can Green Bay balance out this amazing Cardinals defense? And for Green Bay, it's all about their running game. 141 yards on the ground last week. If they can keep that up, that will help Aaron Rodgers settle in with this Cardinals secondary.
All right, 2 quarterbacks that are so much fun. Russell Wilson with Seattle and Cam Newton with Carolina. How do you see it, big man?
Well, I see a lot of running from both quarterbacks just to survive from
A lot of dancing.
a lot of dabbing and all kind of stuff to survive a ferocious defense doing all that they can do on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I like Seattle defense to really play aggressive, but I do like Cam to calm the storm, to do his thing, chest is out, yes, and get a victory.
Nothing calm about Cam.
Nothing calm, nor do we want it to be. Here's why, one of the many reasons I love Cam Newton. He has made the game fun. Football is the rock'em sock'em, but when you're watching the Panthers play, you have fun because of him, because they're successful, of course. Now, here's the question for Jeffrey. Which game do you like best? I got to think it's that one.
Great matchup. 2 great defenses, 2 physical teams, 2 great quarterbacks who can run and throw the ball. Wilson made the greatest play last week. Any other, besides Cam Newton, any other quarterback on that snap jumps on the ball, takes the loss. Wilson picked it up, turned the game around.
Yeah, it was an incredible play. And that's the kind of thing he does. For him, that doesn't even seem like that much of a scramble. He's just got his head that much into the game. I'm only sorry they didn't play baseball. This guy was a great baseball player. I mean, he is a great football player, but I would have loved to have seen Russell Wilson playing baseball. He was great. All right, we're going to come back in just a moment later in the show, and Jeffrey the Edge is going to give us the winners in the Elite 8 playoffs. This is football's Play to Win.
Start the new year in a new Nissan. During Nissan's 2016 event, choose from 7 models with 0% financing for up to 60 months, plus up to $5,000 cash back. Or lease Altima just $189 per month. But hurry, the excitement may last, but 0% on 7 models won't. Offers end February 1st. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites.
So, you didn't win $1 billion. Well, would you settle for $15 million? Or what about $40 million? With Mega Millions jackpots starting at $15 million and Powerball jackpots starting at $40 million, you know what? You'd still take home a load of cash. Seriously. Because any jackpot is a good jackpot. Play Powerball and Mega Millions with the Georgia Lottery.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
This is the Toyota Corolla? Jump in. Whoa, look at all this stuff. Right? Moonroof, Bluetooth. Is that a backup camera?
Yep. Standard.
Standard? Get out of here.
I can't. You just locked us in.
Why didn't I get a Toyota Corolla?
I told you there's nothing like it.
Oh, it's so roomy. Oh, there's like...
That's enough.
The 2016 Toyota Corolla. Get a 2-year lease on a new 2016 Toyota Corolla LE for $159 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Today's Player Medical and Injury Report is being brought to you by John Foy and Associates. Personal injury law. Get the strong arm.
All right, time to look into the injury situation for the NFL in these divisional playoff games. First of all, the NFL injuries, and in a moment we'll have Dr. A with the player medical report. The injury list, however, Julian Edelman is going to play by all apparencies right now. Ben Roethlisberger may not. He's got a tear in the shoulder. Marshawn Lynch last week was going to play right up until an hour before they left to go play the game, and he said, I can't go, and didn't play. Bet that he will play this week. Now it's time for the player medical report with Dr. A, the creator of InsideInjuries.com.
We are at the divisional playoffs. The injury count is going up, their impact is going up, and the players that we're talking about are lower in number. So let's take a look at some of the new injuries. Antonio Brown, level 1 concussion. If he does play and recovers from that concussion, his grade is at a B+ and remains at low risk. Jeremy Maclin, he's downgraded to a C- at 50% performance and now has moved into high-risk category. He has a grade 2 or 3 lateral ankle sprain. Devontae Adams, his knee injury now is a grade 2 MCL sprain, downgraded to a C- at 50%, also moves into high-risk category. And Ben Roethlisberger, in the last game, suffered a AC joint sprain with some torn ligaments. He was already at a C, and now he's downgraded to a D+ at 45% high risk. Now, let's take a look at all the quarterbacks that are involved in all the playoff games. Now, I want you to look at the right side where you have the medical risk category. So you look at all the players that are in green at low risk. Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Cam Newton. They have been relatively healthy this year, and the algorithm is looking favorably on them. But look at Peyton Manning and Alex Smith are at moderate risk category, and Ben Roethlisberger and Carson Palmer have now moved into high risk category. So pay particular attention to those when you're entering your fantasy lineups. The injuries, again, are much more impactful because the players leave it all on the field because there may not be another game to play next week. And therefore, the injury count goes up and their impact on the game and the players also increases.
All right, Dr. A, thank you very much for the player medical report. See how those injuries play off in the divisional games. And when we come back, Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, lightning round, and he will pick the divisional NFL games.
It can happen to anyone. The road to your recovery can be painful, both physically and financially. Protect your rights and get the lawyer who fights.
Start the new year in a new Nissan. During Nissan's 2016 event, choose from 7 models with 0% financing for up to 60 months, plus up to $5,000 cash back. Or lease Altima just $189 per month. But hurry, the excitement may last, but 0% on 7 models won't. Offers end February 1st. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites.
In a wreck, get a check.
A reckless driver swerved into me. I called the strong arm. My check, $675,000.
Get the strong arm. Attorney John Foy and Associates.
All right, it is time for the lightning round. That means Jeffrey the Edge Schechter. And we're going to start with his favorite team, I think, of all time. The way he's been talking about them this year, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Love them all year. New England might be a little hurting. Take the 5 with Kansas City. 3 weeks ago, Arizona killed Green Bay. They're not going to kill them this time, but they're going to cover the 7. Go with Arizona.
All right, how about Seattle and Carolina, one of my favorite games. You're liking Carolina at home, huh?
Best matchup. If Carolina thinks they're going to intimidate Seattle, they're wasting their time. But if they play Carolina football, give the 2.5 with Carolina.
Now, you got Pittsburgh here, but so that it tells me that you think Roethlisberger's going to be able to play and play well enough to win. They're getting 7.
If his arm was in a sling, he's got a better arm than Manning. I haven't liked Denver all year. Take the 7 with Pittsburgh. This is big boy football. There's no quarterbacks named Hoyer. There's no backup quarterbacks. These quarterbacks started very good, and they all go to very great.
All right, that's it. The divisional playoffs, the Elite 8, and that is it for football's Play to Win. We'll all see you next week.
Play to Win has been brought to you by Toyota, the Georgia Lottery, and John Foy and Associates.